Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever IFS Open Lecture Series lecture. It is an honor to be here. I'm Tambo. Let's just put a big round of applause to the IFS team for putting this amazing event together as well. Today we're going to be talking about something that's very, very close to my heart, which is how to succeed as a content creator slash YouTuber in Korea. Because we have a wide range of audiences. And we have people who are deep within the process of content creation, and we have people who are a bit earlier in the process as well. We're going to be talking a bit generally, but the good thing is we're going to have a few different parts to today. We're going to have the main lecture, and then we're going to follow up with a Q&A, and then we're going to have a networking session as well, so we can talk a bit closer and get acquainted. We like that, right? So today we're going to start with a few things. We're going to do an introduction, just my story as to how I became a creator. Then after that, we're going to be talking about some general strategies that you can follow to succeed as a creator in Korea. And then after that, a few special tips that I recommend that might help you during your process. Beautiful, let's go. Everyone excited? Yeah, give me some more energy. Where's the excitement? There we go. I like that. That's what I like to see. Okay, beautiful. So I'm Chambo. Real name is Chris Hambasumian. I'm a CPA by origin, but right now I am in Korea as a content creator. I do YouTube, TikTok, I go on TV, I do radio, all sorts of things. And how did this all start? I started making content when I came to Korea about 2.5 years ago, and I made myself popular by coming up with a phrase called garbage, which became something quite viral in Korea, which got me onto TV. It's gotten me onto a few different other YouTube channels, but let me just show an example of the content I do. This one I specifically chose for today because it was filmed in Yeongjong Island, which is a part of IFES. Beautiful area. I recommend.
하루 종일 영종도에서 밥 못 먹는다던데. 해봐. 아이 까미지. 아침에 물으라면 먹는 것부터 가볼게요. 통째로 먹어야 손맛해. 전복, 게, 호박, 라면도 시원하게 흡입했습니다. 점심에는 돌막국수를 가는데 왜 써야 있는 거지? 근데 막국수라서 막 먹어야 제맛이지. 수육도 국물이지 인지용. 저녁에는 인시온 파라다이스에 가서 클래식 아메리칸 치즈버거를 먹었습니다. 빅맥 같은 치즈버거를 때리고 집에 들어왔습니다.
Alright, how's that? It's good, right? Yeah. So essentially the main types of content I've found my way into is food, travel, and everything is backed by a sense of tension and comedy because we need to have a happy life and we can choose to be happy or we can be sad. So when people are watching content, I want to give the happiness to them. Beautiful. So thanks to that, I've been featured on a few giant YouTube channels in Korea. My social media following is 410,000 on TikTok. 228 I think on YouTube and 24K on Instagram. Always growing, just keep on hustling. And been on TV, been on radio, doing all sorts of things that I always wanted to do but never would have imagined I would actually get myself into. Living the dream. But more importantly is how did I get here? And don't worry, this is all going to connect to what you need to be doing. So this all has a purpose. Well, firstly in Australia I went to a school called North Sydney Boys High School, which is one of the top selective schools in the state of New South Wales, which means you need to take a test to get in. So most of the students were of the intelligent, were more on the intelligent side in terms of Australian students, but a consequence of that, or maybe something that led to that, is that 92% of the students were from a language background other than English. What did that mean in reality? It meant that something like 80 or 90% of the students at this school were of Chinese or Korean descent. Because at the time there was a bit of a stereotype in Australia. If you are of Asian descent, your parents are going to send you to tutoring, and then from that, you're going to get good grades and get into good schools. My school, that was correct, so most students were of Asian descent. And what happened was for 6 years, because of how I look, I was kind of singled out. I was, because I look different, I was a victim of some level of racism, but that's okay. At the time I was thinking, I can either dismiss these people, I can hate them, or I can try to get close to them. Why don't I learn their language, their culture, and from there we can become friends. So I started, looking at K-pop, watching Chinese movies, and it's very surface level, but just that little bit of effort it helped bring me closer to these other people. What that led me to do is when I went into university, I then chose to study a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Finance and International Business, and a Bachelor of Arts in Chinese Studies and Korean Studies. What I then did was I started an events company where I was working with organizations like the Korean Cultural Office to bring Korean people and Australian people closer together. I was thinking, wow, this is good. Not just I should benefit from making effort. I want to help other people so that they don't have to go through any form of discrimination themselves. It was great. We had something like 1,000 people per event. We were bringing people together on a surface level, but that's just the start of everything. So I studied really hard, and based on my event experience, I eventually found myself on a one-year exchange to Seoul National University, where frankly studying wasn't my priority. A lot more partying involved and exploring Korean culture. I learned a lot. I also realized that I don't know anything about Korean culture. I'd only scratched the surface. But then it gave me a new idea. If I just do events for the rest of my life, I can bring a maximum of 1,000 people at any time together. But something new was happening. There was Instagram that was just getting popular. There was YouTube, and I was like, ooh, this is a very exciting opportunity. And I've been through so many difficult times in Korea. Why don't I use this platform where I make one video and it can reach potentially thousands or millions of people and try to bring people closer together on a larger scale? So I made my first ever YouTube video back in 2014, 어장 관리하는 방법, which is about how you can be a player essentially, because I was the victim of a lot of playing during my university days. And I didn't understand it. It wasn't normal from an Australian perspective. But the video at the time, it didn't have 19,000 views. It had maybe 500 or something. But the consequence of that was that, one, people who don't know Korea started to learn, again, surface level about Korea. And then Koreans who were watching, they would say, oh, people outside of Korea are interested in our country. So I noticed that there is an ability to act as a bridge between the two countries. Now, I went back to Australia, I graduated, I wanted to come back to Korea. Frankly, I couldn't find a well-paying job in Korea, so instead I decided to go to Hilton, where I worked in China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia in the finance department. And then I went back to Hong Kong and I worked in the blockchain industry, combating slavery, doing really fun and fascinating things. But deep down in my heart, I thought, look, this is not what I want to do. My goal in life is to bring people closer together, because I went through it when I was younger, and I don't want other people to have to experience it themselves. So in 2020, I decided, forget the corporate life. We're eating buffet every day, we're having good times, but this is not fulfilling my true destiny. So 2020, I came back to Korea in January, and guess what happened? Maybe February, Corona, COVID exploded. It was kind of difficult. So my plans got kind of shaken, but that meant I had to try extra hard at making content. So I was making YouTube videos for I think 3 or 4 months, and no traction was happening whatsoever. But then somebody told me, look, Chambo, you have good content, but you're on the wrong platform. You're doing the wrong method. Why don't you try this thing called TikTok? 2 years ago, TikTok, I don't know if you remember, but people weren't exactly very fond of it. They thought this platform has security issues. Who watches short videos? This stuff is terrible. But I made some videos. Before I started making the videos, I looked through and I was like, oh, everyone's a dancing girl. Like, I can't go topless and do that myself. Maybe I can. I don't know if I'll get any views, but I'm flattered that you recommend this sort of app for me. But then I came across this video by these guys called the Ghana Twins. They're this duo of twins from Ghana living in Korea, making comedy in Korean. And I was like, ooh, this is fun. Why didn't I try myself? So that same very night, I went home, I made a video, boom. Took me less than 30 minutes, where a YouTube video would take me 40 hours to create something. The views went up to 100,000 or something in a day. I was like, oh, this has potential. So we kept on making, and now we are here as a creator in Korea. So why the very long story? Okay, I hope that had some insight, but it probably doesn't. So let me connect the dots for you. There is a reason that I told you my very intimate story of why it happened. First thing I want to show you is the journey that it took to get there. So I was working corporate the entire time, but people recognize me for one thing right now. But what really happened was I went and did heaps of types of content. and most of them weren't successful. No one watched it. But something happened from all of these non-successes. I'm not going to say failure. All of this stuff, it built up into experience, into knowledge, into understanding of the process, into mental fortitude to keep on making things, and then eventually it led to this success at the very bottom. So 7 years of failure, and then it comes all together at the end. So what are the 3 takeaways, the giant takeaways I want you to take away from my personal story so far? 1, Rome wasn't built in a day. 2, every non-success is a lesson. And 3, just do it. That's my favorite one, but we'll go into it in a bit more detail. I like statistics. In the end, I am still an accountant deep at heart. So let's just take a look. You can find so many of these things online when you search for other creators as well. For my first 100 subscribers, it took me 13 videos and 812 days, so about 2.5 years to get 100 subscribers. To get to 1,000, because I wasn't quite active or I didn't know what I was doing, I was experimenting, took me an additional 78 videos and another 1,600 days to get there. So about 7 years or something for 1,000 subs. Then to get to 10,000, it only took me an extra 52 videos and less than 1 year. And to go from 10,000 to 100,000, it took me 15 more videos only and 21 days, like 3 weeks, going from 10 to 100. And then to double that up, 126, so another 4 months. You can see that there's something happening. It's exponential scaling. At the start, you don't know what you're doing. It's impossible to know what you're doing because making videos, telling stories, it takes time, it takes experience, and no one is born with a talent straight out of the womb. If we look at piano players, we look at someone like Mozart. How did he become the legend that he is? It's not like he was born with the talent from day one. He practiced, he practiced, he practiced, he practiced, and eventually he wrote symphonies, and now we remember him for everything that he's done. Da Vinci, he's a famous artist. How did he do it? He practiced, he practiced, he practiced, he practiced. One of the things that a lot of people think is, it's just a YouTube video, so if I just put it out, maybe this thing is going to suddenly explode and I'm going to become famous, and then I'm going to make a second video that's super awesome without knowing what makes a video good, without knowing how to tell stories, without having rapport with your audiences. That's not how it works. And I'm saying this in a very positive way. Remain calm and keep on doing things. It's a long journey. And that means that when it's a long journey, there's lots of ups and downs. When you do things on a short-term thing, on a short-term basis, it's impossible to understand what's good, what's bad, and you won't go through this process of learning what's good and what's bad. In the long term, once you've been doing it for a couple of years, you're going to have weeks where you're on top of the world. You made 15 amazing videos and everything goes bloomingly great. Your subscribers go up amazing. Then what happens after that? You can't maintain it because it's impossible to be perfect all the time. So you have a down season. And at the start, you'll be crying, oh my God, why can't I make a good video? Maybe my run is over. I was a one-hit wonder. It's all over. But the thing is that through years of discipline and hard work, you learned that it's actually a habit that you need to maintain. Making videos is not just a purely creative process, it's a mental process that takes understanding of what people want. You need to know how to tell stories, and over time, not only do you learn how to tell stories, but you gain that mental strength to keep on making even when things aren't going well. So I made this, I think 2 days ago, trying to be creative about how people imagine the real process. Everyone thinks that, I keep making, I'll go viral, and I keep going viral, and whoa, I'm Mr. Beast, I'm the most famous person in the world. But in reality, you make something, it might blow up, then you make nothing, you make something else, you go backwards because you made something terrible. Lots of ups and downs on that journey, and it's a learning process. But in the end, as long as you're going up as a trend, then it's all good, just keep on going. Now, this one is also very important. Every non-success is a lesson. There's no such thing as a failure in practice. When you're practicing piano at home and you make a mistake, that's not a failure. That's just another thing that you're going to be wary about the next time you play piano, the next time you're rehearsing for your performance. The thing when it comes to the video making industry is that your practice is public. you need to be shameless about publishing your content. Because what happens when you publish your content is you get feedback from audiences, or you don't get feedback, which is also feedback from your audiences telling you that this is terrible. You learn about things like the algorithm, because the algorithm is always changing as well. If you knew it 1 week ago, but you didn't make a video for a week, maybe the algorithm has betrayed you and you now no longer know anything about it. So you need to be very regular. And one of the most important things I think is how to tell stories. Because a video in the end is a story that has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, just like writing, just like a movie. Would you watch a movie that is not interesting? Maybe if it's got your favorite characters in it, which is another good thing about making things regularly. You build rapport with your audience, so even if you make something terrible, people are still kind of interested in it. Then you've also got the technical things, like how to edit. Editing as a tool in itself. Learning how to shoot, all of these things are technical skills that you also learn through repetition. So every single non-success is a lesson. Nothing is a failure, it's all practice. A non-viral video is practice. And not everything has to be a viral video. Now this is my absolute favorite. You know, it's such a rude thing that back in the day, every time somebody said it to me, when I said, how can I get big on YouTube? They just said, just make good content. I'm like, what does that mean? What is good content? The thing is, no one can tell you what is the correct answer. The only way you can find that answer is by doing it. And it's so condescending because it's almost dismissive, right? What's the answer? In the end, you need to do so that you can understand what your audience wants to see. You need to find your audience. No one else can tell you who that audience is. No one else can tell you how to do it. Otherwise, they would have been doing it for themselves and making money when you're not. And another very important principle, in the time that you're wondering, what should I do? Is this the right strategy? What sort of person do I want to be seen as? In the time that you're thinking about that, if you just make a video instead, that process is going to give you enough feedback to start shaping your future anyway. So don't think, just do. If you're even thinking about making a YouTube video today, go home, make it over this weekend, no excuses. When you're thinking about meeting your friends and doing something that gives you that instant gratification, instead just go home, make a video, it's going to suck, and then just upload it, and then you learn, why does this suck? Either internally you learn it, or you get that external feedback. Well, those were the points that I wanted to give you from my story, which took, I think, 9 years to finally get to where we are right now. But now let's talk about something else called strategy. These are the tips that are going to help you on a larger basis that I highly recommend in the current video economy. The first thing is that short form content is so much better than long form content when you're first getting started. When you don't have a base audience and you still don't know how to do storytelling, investing 10 to 40 hours in a video that no one is going to see does not mean anything. It's a waste of your time. We have something very important called opportunity cost. In the time I could make one long video that no one's going to see, I can make 20 short videos that maybe everyone's going to see. The algorithm is going to say, this person has made 20 videos, they're committed to this platform, let's reward this person. And the thing with short form content as well, it's a lot more objective. Long form content looks at your current base of subscribers and viewers. And based off that, it shows it to a set number of people. Short form content is a lot more brutal, but you can use that to your advantage. It looks at your average view time, likes, comments, subscribes, shares, and how much people are paying attention to your video. So if you have 0 subscribers and you make a great video that's very engaging, the entire planet's gonna see it. If you have an amazing video on YouTube, a long form content video that is also amazing, you're gonna get maybe 80% of your subscribers plus an additional 5% from the recommendation feed or from the search feed. With shorts, there's no discovery process, so it's gonna be slammed in people's faces, because the purpose of YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok is to show you good content so you don't close the app. So as long as you're making short form content that is more interesting than the next person on that very day, you're going to be shown, and guess what? That's going to help you with your growth. Another great thing about short form content, you don't need to worry about search engine optimization and thumbnails. With YouTube, you need to have the perfect title for your video. In the description, you need to have a description that helps the algorithm pick up what is this video about. You need to have a thumbnail that catches the viewer's attention over everybody else. Short form content, even within YouTube Reels, YouTube Shorts, is just shoved into your face regardless of thumbnail and search engine optimization. So it's very easy. You don't have to learn 2 and 3 skills. You just learn how to make videos well. Oh. This is supposed to have a guy going like this, and then this is supposed to have a guy going like this. Don't make me-focused content. Make you-focused content. What does that mean? In the old days, and now it's kind of why Instagram is I don't know if I want to say dying, but a very slowing platform. Is that the right word? Slowing platform? Yeah, let's go with that. The growth of Instagram has slowed significantly because people are tired of seeing things that show how good the person is. So people right now, they use Instagram like a CV, like a resume. This is my life, this is what I'm doing, look how good I am, look how well I live. Because I live well, you need to reward me with more well living, and it's a cycle that goes like that. Essentially, it's a flex platform. It's all about me, this is how good I am. Why are things like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and even Instagram Reels, you'll start noticing in the user interface when you press the plus button on these apps, these short videos are starting to go higher and higher on the options, which means it has higher priority. Why are these things picking up? Because people are no longer interested in how good other people's lives are. That doesn't deliver any value to them. People want to see things that give them information, that give them empathy, and that give them entertainment. So when you're making videos, instead of thinking, does this make me look good? Think about, does this give the viewer value? In my case, the thing that's worked best for me, none of the old stuff which was all about, I'm traveling around, look how good my life is. Now I still travel around and I still eat food, but the difference is it's information packaged in an extremely high tension format that makes people happy. Okay, there we go. Everything was boring until now, and then we got at least like half a chuckle out of that. So the point is, if you give people energy, you give people something that feeds them value, you will do better than somebody who just shows, I am a worthwhile human. You don't tell people I'm a worthwhile human. You show them that you are worthwhile by giving them value. So here's some examples again. These are things that you shouldn't do. Don't worry about how good you look. Don't worry about showing things that are too unique for people to relate to. And don't try to reinvent the wheel of storytelling. Storytelling is beyond video. We've got movies, we've got books, we've got music. Everything has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. If you follow that format, it's going to do you well. So things that do work well within this video format is giving people this deri manjok, helping them live through you to experience things that they want to experience, but through you because they are unable to at the very time. You want to show people things that they're curious about. If we look at Pokemon Pang, like Pokemon bread, why did that explode? Because everyone wants it, but no one can get their hands on it. So you show them something, oh, I got it too. And then you want to make sure you focus again on storytelling. I want to emphasize the hell out of storytelling. You want to be telling people these stories in a format that is familiar to them, that's easy to understand. A, B, C, D. Now, another amazing tip that I completely recommend is the call to action. This is nothing new in the world of humans. If you're in e-commerce, you're in videos, you're in anything, you need to tell people what to do in order for them to do it. They need to know what the option is that you're presenting to them. So here's some examples of call to actions that I use. At the end of essentially every single one of my videos, I ask people, what should I do next? That's telling people, tell me in the comments what you want me to do next. And then how do I show them that I respond to that? my videos, I'd say 80% of them are in reply to one of these comments that the fans have left for me. So it's showing if you put something in, then you might get rewarded with a video that you want to see. This is probably a bit too small, but always in the comment section as well, I tell people, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. And that has a tremendous effect. I can't tell you how amazing that one line is. There's a reason everyone in YouTube like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. It has an impact. There was one time as well, I was looking through my statistics. I don't do it often because, again, I prefer the just do it method of actually making videos. I went through my videos and I realized only 30% of the people watching my videos are subscribers. So I made a post about it saying, if you like my content and you're part of the people who aren't currently subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I think I got 10,000 subscribers in a day just by saying that one thing. Tell people what to do because call to actions are very effective in the human world. Everything you do on the internet is driven by call to action. Imagine you go on a shopping website and there's no option to add to cart or to buy now. No one's going to buy the product. Now, let's talk about the process for making videos. I don't know how much I should go into this. Maybe I'll ask you guys a question first. We're going to go into 3 categories. There's